Today, we're jumping into something big, QBTS or D-Wave stock, and the potential it's showing in the quantum computing space right now. You might have heard of D-Wave, and if you haven't, trust me, you're going to want to after today. This is the kind of stock that could really take off, and I'm going to show you exactly why. But here's the thing. I'm not just talking about it. I'm also putting my money where my mouth is. I'm trading live this morning and every day, Monday through Friday. If you want to see how I approach the market, click that second link in the description. Join us in tomorrow's live market session at Open. We got our daily live trading there. Let's make some moves together. Are you guys ready? Let's dive in. So when it comes to QBTS, you can see the past 3 months they've been consolidating from left to right. There's this price point right here around $3.33 that we saw them bounce at. And then we also see a level up here that it's currently bouncing at. This is a previous resistance, previous support, previous support, previous support. And you can see that level really hold true. And now it's right there. It's acting as a resistance. So why is this such a key level? Well, if you look at these levels that I've kind of mapped out, it's up 15% today. There's 3 things we look at in the market. We look at the overall market direction, then we go into analysis on an asset, so the actual fundamentals, the news, the technicals, and then also the financials. And then lastly, we'll look at a profit plan for this stock. What do the next moves look like here in the near future? So again, in the technical analysis side of things, you can see that it's consolidating from left to right. There's this resistance as well that's up here around $6.40. We've seen it get rejected at this price point many times. You can see that level there, that previous resistance. And we'll see if it can break up into this level, this $5.40 range, because if it does, this is the next level we would see it consolidate in. And it's at the 200-day moving average with that big push up today of 16%. Possibly, if it continues up above the 200-day moving average, then we're going to see it continue up. But again, possibly because it could get rejected at this $5.40 price point. We're just kind of standing by to see if it does do anything. So we'll be watching it at market open tomorrow. You can see if it makes this move, it'll be a 25% swing upwards. Now, just as much as we'd like to see it make that upward move, if it gets rejected here, it could sell down to this $4 range. So we want to approach it with some caution, wait for some confirmation. The RSI, the MACD do look a little overextended after that nice move today. So maybe it balances out, consolidates a little bit, and then we start to see it push up above this 200-day moving average, start to maybe make its way to that $7 range. And that's when we'll most likely be trading it. So around this $5.50 range might be our entry point. And we look to sell a 25 or 30% increase up to maybe $7, depending on how that trade goes. The thing we're looking at in the quantum market, all the stocks were up a little bit today. Rigetti was up 2.2%. IONQ, which is another big company. When we went to CES and we got to talk directly with Microsoft, the vice president of quantum at IBM, and we got to talk with executives from IONQ, one of the big emphases that they had on, the emphasis for 2025 at least, was with the advent of AI, the biggest thing is scalability. And scalability doesn't mean necessarily more qubits. It means the fidelity and the effectiveness of each qubit. And so that's something that all these companies are really focusing on and is key. It's like if you have a garden, and I love this example, you have a bunch of tomato trees. You might have 1 million tomato trees. That's great. But if none of them are giving you tomatoes, it's not a very good garden. You want one tomato tree first that's going to produce well and do its job. And the same thing is true with quantum. If you have all these qubits, if they're not effective, it just doesn't make sense. Same thing with GPUs. If you have a lot of GPUs, you want each GPU to be very efficient and have the capability to be able to scale, because you can't scale if you can't get one right. So basically, we're looking at this, we're seeing that the scalability is being solved by these quantum computing companies. That's where the market comes in. We mentioned that some of the players are Microsoft, IBM. If you look at the quantum market analysis for this year, they were saying at CES that they're expecting quantum to surge to $1 to $3 trillion over the next few years. If you look at the year over year growth, they're saying, if you look here, it's saying that the market's around 1 billion to 5 billion. Nothing has really been updated. Here's one that's from the Quantum Insider. It says market could add a total of more than 1 trillion to the global economy between 2025 and 2035. That's a little more accurate. That seems a little bit more in line with what we're seeing. And also, as we're seeing these companies valued at billions of dollars, it's making more sense why those valuations are starting to come out. You see Google and Willow chip starting to, the Google and the Willow chip, the Microsoft and the Majorana chip, and then you got AWS with Ocelot quantum chip as well. And so you have the big companies jumping in. That's the market analysis. It's growing. The technicals we went over. The fundamentals. Let's take a look at QBTS stock. One thing to consider, we've seen that if you take a look at their financials here, the financials have been a little bit shaky. They've been negative. So we're anticipating that we'd like to see Q4 have some more growth here. I'm looking at the revenue and it's kind of missing. You see this? It's missing. It's in the red. If you go back to June 2024, things are in the green. They're starting to improve year over year. In March, it was in the green. In December 2023, it was in the green. But that last quarter or the second to last quarter in 2024, still looking red. You see that revenue just down negative, basically 27% year over year. That's not something you want to see. The net income down about negative 22 million. So they're burning through some cash. That's something you got to look at. Now, aside from the financials, you might say, Will, you're saying that the market's growing, but the financials are looking not that good. What gives? Why would I invest in this company? Well, I don't know if you guys have seen the interview that happened with D-Wave's CEO just after the announcement from NVIDIA's CEO, Jensen, that said that quantum computers are 10, 15 years away. There was this interview, I think it was CNBC, where the CEO of D-Wave was saying, we're partnered with companies and we're using quantum computers right now. And that was the consensus that I saw when I went to CES. Most of the companies there were saying we're using quantum computers right now. And a lot of them were very upset about those comments from the CEO of NVIDIA. The CEO of NVIDIA also is a big investor in a lot of these companies. So it was interesting to see a 10 to 15 year horizon. But it was also such a vague statement. I think he said before they have real use or something like that, to where it could have been interpreted wrong. And that's not really what he meant. And I think he kind of clarified. He's like, we invest in the companies and they seem like they are being used right now. I was talking about scalability across the whole world or something like that. I think he corrected his comments in something of that sort. But here's the deal. They're partnered with some big companies. They got MasterCard. They're with NASA. They're helping supply chain cut costs and increase efficiencies, driving efficiencies for a few food groups. You got Patterson Food Group. You got Ford. You got Docomo. So talking about 5G networks and fiber optics. They improve their network performance. So companies are using these quantum computers. And D-Wave is one of the quantum computers that is fast. It's one of the fastest. You can get an answer when you use this quantum computer through the cloud in just a matter of minutes. Now, the other thing that they have coming up that's kind of timed right around their earnings is this Qubits 2025. It's a conference that they're having in Scottsdale, Arizona, where they're showcasing some of their tech, talking about new insights, ideas, and what's coming to the company in the near future. I'm actually going to go to this event, so I'm super pumped about that. That should be cool. We're going in Scottsdale. So you see some of the news. A lot of the company's partnerships seem to be in industries where we're going to expect increases in revenue. Talking about MasterCard. We're talking about the car industry. So I think it's Hyundai that they're partnered. We got to look at some of their partners here. You can see who their partners are and who they're with. But we've seen some of the, maybe it's here. I got to find where it's at. But we've seen some of their partnerships and they've looked good. They have a lot of solutions for not just, automobiles or supply chain, but also in financial institutions that they're working with as well. And so that's going to be something I would imagine would grow pretty quickly. So they're working on the hardware, the actual quantum computer. They are also working on their cloud platform and the software for the quantum computers. Overall, I would say that we're watching the financials closely. That's the lagging measure and part of what is looking not so good for quantum. The news and the partnerships look good, and that's where we're saying, oh, maybe revenue is going to kick in here. Maybe we're going to see the revenue start to add up and we can see some more profits roll in for these quantum companies. When it comes to the technical analysis, really great 15% push up today. I'm expecting that if they break above this $5.40 range, then we could see some growth here in the near future. And if they break above that range, then we could be trading them possibly from this $5.50 range up to that $7 range. It's a zone where they've consolidated consistently, and we'll have to see if that's a pattern that it can enter back into to finish out this week here, week 2 of March. Now again, if you guys want to watch me trade live at Market Open tomorrow, it's that second link in the description. I would encourage you to simply take a look. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all. If I earned your thumbs up, hit that like button. Do consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.